We need more white guys doing their insight on things they don't understand. Podwood Forecast. I like feet. I thought you were just like, you're just like your favorite smell.
I'm gonna go get my flamethrowers.
Here we go. Do it right. Doing it right. Everybody will be dancing and we're doing it right.
Da 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 da. The smell of your skin lingers on me now. You're probably on your flight back to your hometown. I need some shelter of my own protection, baby. To be with myself and center, clarity, peace, serenity. I hope you know that this has nothing to do with you. It's personal, myself and I. We've got some straightening out to do. And I'm gonna miss you like a child misses their blanket, but I've got to get a move on with my life. It's time to be a big girl now, and big girls don't cry. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Podwood Forecast.
Why did you do that?
Why not?
Was that Making My Way Downtown?
No, Big Girls Don't Cry by Fergie.
Oh, okay.
Fergalicious.
I don't know. I was thinking of the Making My Way Downtown.
No. I hope you know.
That is the same song.
Nothing to do with you.
That was so good.
It's time to be a big girl now.
No more.
And big girls don't cry. You don't remember that one?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I just don't like it.
Okay. I mean, I never said anything about liking it, but I just decided to open up the show with that.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I'm Clifford, everyone. And
I'm Mitchell.
That's Mitchell. And welcome to this special episode of the Podwood Forecast. Mitchell now has a very comfy chair to sit in this time.
Yeah, I don't have scoliosis while recording now. It's awesome.
Yeah. It hasn't been released yet at this point, but the last episode of The Lord of the Rings, we kind of finish up talking about Lord of the Rings, and then like I put a clip of the Lord of the Rings like near the end.
Yeah.
And it fades out, and then you just come back in with my butt hurts.
It did. Was that your chair is very squeaky, by the way.
Yeah.
Be careful.
I'll stop squeaking.
But,
sorry, I gotta put some oil on it.
Was it that chair?
No, you were sitting on the beanbag chair.
Oh, the beanbag? Oh, gosh.
That now has a hole in it, and so I had to throw it out.
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
I wore it out.
Yeah. No, I mean I did too. That was my gaming chair.
Yeah.
So now I gotta get a new gaming chair. But you got this new comfy chair that used to be my sister's.
It is really comfortable, and it leans back really far.
Yeah. So now I'm not the only one sitting comfortably.
Yeah.
So this episode is special for 2 reasons.
For 20 reasons.
20. Yeah. For 13 reasons.
Why?
Why? No, we're going to be talking about our favorite movies. But first, I don't think you remember this, but this is the special episode where I present.
Oh, yeah.
The $10 that we have made over. It's been like almost a year that we've been doing this.
Something like that,
I think, the Podwood Forecast. We made just over $10 in ad revenue. We're still continuing to make more, but I cashed out $10 because we were going to make a big special. I think we said this in like our video game episode.
Yeah.
That we were going to have a whole big deal of me having a whole ceremony and presenting $5 to each of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$5.
The whole $5 we've made over this podcast, over ad revenue.
Breaking our backs for 10 McDoubles.
Yeah, seriously, guys. Continue listening. Wait, stop. Don't reach yet. We have to savor this moment.
I've worked
He's
so
like
hard.
reaching, like, gimme.
I quit my job for this podcast. This is my first paycheck.
We're just eating ramen noodles.
Literally eating rocks to survive.
I mean, it's sustenance.
Yeah.
So, well, Mitchell, I just want to say that I would not want to do this podcast with anyone else.
Yay.
This has been a lot of fun, a lot of good memories of our friendship recorded in episode format.
Indeed.
And you deserve this $5
Yay!
here. Yay. I'll put some
Abraham
dramatic music.
He's so honest.
And I got one too.
I love it.
I got $5. here.
What if I just ripped it?
I'd cry.
Now you have $2.50.
I would cry live here on recording. But
I'm proud to have been part of this moment. It's priceless. It's priceless in $10.
$10. Yeah. So do you have anyone to thank?
I'd like to thank my mom for being the only one who listens to us. Thank you, Mom.
Oh, so she listened to our Avatar episode for like 400 times.
She said she listens to it all, and I'm like, do you even know what we're talking about? And she's like, no, not really. But it's sweet. I mean,
but we make it interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to thank my girlfriend Lisa for listening to our podcast. She's the other one who listens.
Oh yeah,
as well.
True.
But seriously, we know that there's a few of you out there, and we appreciate you. Thank you for supporting us.
Yes.
And you can help us out more by sharing with your friends, and don't forget to leave a rating and review. That actually does really help us out on Apple Podcasts. So yeah.
Sick.
Cool. All right. Anyways, we're quitting the podcast now.
Yeah.
Goodbye. No.
We got our money and we're done. It was all about the paycheck.
That was our ultimate goal, was to get $10.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
We freaking made it.
Yes, we did. This was it.
Yeah.
We made it. This was our peak. Okay.
Now it's time. It's time for another Top 10 episode.
We really love our lists.
We really do.
Our top 10 lists.
It is a thing, though. People just love making lists for things now. Like,
I've noticed that, like, in the past few years, like with social media and everything, there's this phenomenon that happens every year where people have to share their top favorite something.
Yeah,
usually albums or movies.
It started with, I don't know if it started, I mean, obviously it goes prior to that, but at least in terms of the internet and like why we do it probably is because of YouTube stuff. You know, like top 10, like, you know, Watch Mojo stuff when, you know, like top 10 albums of all time. It's interesting to see like what someone considers their favorite album of all time.
Which I will admit, there was a phase in my life where I was binging those when they were first popular.
I was too. Everyone
I'm
totally
ashamed
did.
to say.
I did too, and everyone did. And if you say you didn't, you're lying. But yeah, everyone kind of just is curious. It's more interesting for individuals rather than like a Watch Mojo site where it's like like a group of people.
Watch
analyze.
Mojo, it's a company.
Yeah,
you know? No one cares
what's
what
the
a
best
company
movie of all
thinks.
time? The Godfather. Statistically, it's like stuff like that's boring. But I just like personal lists. Like, what's my favorite? Not what's the best, but favorite. And I find that interesting because it's like a little insight. It's a little window into someone's soul because you can learn a little bit about someone based off what they like. I feel learn about their music and their movie tastes. It says a little bit about them, and you feel like you're kind of getting to know someone a little bit, and it's easy to connect with people if you like similar things. So it's kind of fun when you watch something, especially if they mention a movie that isn't regularly referenced as someone's favorite movie, and you're like, oh, whoa, they like that, I like that. So people are always trading lists and stuff because it's fun to see how your opinion aligns with others, and it's just fun I personally just kind of enjoy cataloging things. I have an app to catalog all my stupid video games I own. I have a bunch of PS2 games, and I catalog, and it prices them and tells me like how much they're worth. And I have my letterboxed with my lists for each year. And I was using Music Board, but I stopped because it was really glitchy and laggy. But you could make lists of your albums. I return
to there every once in a while when there is like an album that I actually do want to share my opinion of. But even that has a list feature. And you know, YouTubers at the end of the year, especially, you know, like music reviewers or movie reviewers at the end of the year, there's always a top blank of the year. It's like the grand finale for the year is let's relive this year real quick. Like what? Yeah. And it's kind of fun to do because sometimes you forget.
things that came out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait, that was this year. Dang. Like, wow, that feels so long ago. And you kind of just do a really quick mini time capsule of the year.
Trying to think of, like, what was the big song that came out earlier this year that everyone's kind of forgotten. I forgot about that Drake song.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Like things that came out around in like February and March and stuff.
Yeah.
Just almost forget about it.
Yeah.
So it's fun to recap. And
it is. But we're not doing a yearly thing. We are doing a top 10 favorite films of all time.
yes.
And if you listened to our last couple episodes, you guys already know that me and Mitchell's favorite films of all time is The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
We kind of always count it as like one.
Yeah, we would just say Lord of the Rings trilogy is our favorite movie of all time.
Yeah,
and that would be
much.
both of our number one. So the rule for this episode, we're excluding Lord of the Rings
Top
from this
10
list.
excluding Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So our real number ones are Lord of the Rings, just the trilogy.
Yeah.
But for
our
this
number
list,
ones for this episode are actually our number twos.
Technically, yeah. But it's just for this list, for the sake of variety, so you guys don't know what our favorite movies are or what our number one will be, we're excluding it. So it's our top 10 favorite movies besides Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And we've got, it was interesting because I got to put like an extra little one in there that would technically be an 11.
Oh, yeah.
That included all of my ones. But,
yeah, and we've done top 10 music albums, top 10 video games.
Well, that was top 5.
Or 5, yeah.
Yeah.
We did our top albums and we've done our top video games. So what's left? But movies. We've probably mostly talked about movies, I feel like, on the podcast.
It's
at
been
least
a good mixture, honestly.
It's been a good I would say movies and music are a majority.
Yeah. We've had like a couple episodes about TV shows.
Yeah.
Which I guess that would be our next thing.
Yeah.
Like our top 5 TV shows or whatever.
That would be hard because I feel like
I think I could get a top 5.
I think I could. I feel like I haven't watched a ton of TV shows to
I already
completion.
know your number one.
Yeah.
But Robin Hood would not be my number one.
Oh, right.
Anyways, so the rule for this episode is that it's all going to be spoiler-free discussions. We're just going to go through our top 10 because, we want people to be able to listen to this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, you got spoilers for...
Because it's going to be a bunch of random movies, Yeah. It's like... And it's going to be 20 movies just random at any time period. So
yeah, and we don't want to ramble on about them.
There's a chance there's going to be at
anyways.
least a couple that people listening are like planning to watch. So
yeah.
We will not be spoiling.
Yeah. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I could.
You could? I mean, if you don't, that's fine. I kind of just happened to have some.
I'm just numbering mine really quick.
And do we can do this?
I'll totally do some honorable mentions because I kicked some out and I was sad.
Yeah, same.
It's like because I have a lot of movies. Like if you go on my Letterboxd, I have a lot of 10s, and I stopped doing number ratings recently, but I have a lot of 10s on there because there's just a lot of movies I connect with a lot, and I don't necessarily get too picky about like, well, camera angle wasn't that great there, so it's a 9 out of 10. Like if I just love it on an emotional level, personal level, I'll just give it a 10. But
I have a feeling. I'm pretty sure I know most of, like your top 3 at least. I'm pretty sure.
You probably aren't going to be too surprised by a lot of mine. I'll go ahead and do some honorable mentions real quick.
All right.
Honorable mentions would include Mad Max Fury Road, Nightcrawler, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and Goodfellas, Alien, Fargo. All right, and my last honorable mention is going to be There Will Be Blood.
Okay, interesting. There are some that you just mentioned that I would have expected to be in your top 10.
Yeah, those are all 10 out of 10 movies to me, but they just those were the ones when I made my big pile of movies and I was like, which one is going to be my top 10? All of those were considered for the list.
All right. Yeah, these honorable mentions are basically all basically just the other top 10s that didn't make it in the list.
Yeah.
All the movies that I'm going to mention tonight are all the top 10s that I have ever currently.
Oh, okay.
Because me personally, I don't just hand out 10s.
Yeah.
I'm just
I think I have
really hard to please sometimes.
I think I have 40 in total. There's 40 movies I've
It takes a
10s.
lot for a movie to be a 10.
Yeah.
But a 4.5, I'm doing letterboxd rating again. But a 9 is still a great movie.
Yeah.
It just didn't really.
It just sucks. It's just bad and I don't ever want to watch it again.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my honorable mentions would be Uncut Gems. Great film by the Safdie brothers with Adam Sandler. Inglourious Bastards, which I would say...
I would say that should be an honorable mention for me, too.
well, too late. It's mine. I would say it's my favorite Tarantino film.
Yeah.
And then Saving Private Ryan, Steven Spielberg.
Nice.
Directed. And this one's kind of an odd one, but It's a Wonderful Life.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
I love that movie.
I've loved it ever since I was a kid.
This sounds corny, but it's bigger than Christmas. Like, I feel like...
It's technically not... It wasn't even supposed to be a Christmas movie.
It takes
just
place
kind of
around,
became one.
Yeah. It has
90% of the movie isn't even about Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love it.
Really good movie.
Yeah. And then my last honorable mention, which I remember when I first saw this movie, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but the more I've watched it and the more I've thought about it, I really love it. Under the Silver Lake.
Oh, nice.
Film with Andrew Garfield.
Honorable mention this high. Wow.
Yeah, I really love that movie.
That's an amazing movie. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. I think that was a recommendation that I gave on an episode because I had been watching it and thinking about it recently.
I can't remember if you watched that because of me or vice versa.
No, I had heard about it.
Yeah.
So
I just can't remember if
it was free on Amazon Prime one day.
Did I watch it first and then because I knew you knew about it, but I can't remember if I watched it first and then texted you about it, or if
you probably did,
or if you texted me about it and then I was like, I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I feel like
either.
One of us told each other that we watched it though.
I just remember mostly hearing about it from Your Movie Sucks.
Yeah,
because he loved it so much. It's a guy that we watch on YouTube. Check him out. Your Movie Sucks.
Please give us money for endorsing you.
Thank you. Please, Adam. Please be on our podcast too. Yeah. Anyways, that's my honorable mentions. So from here on out, so we'll just do it like the classic way where
10,
like
10, 9, 9, 8,
10, 8. Yeah, okay.
Just cycle back and forth.
All right, here we go. I am excited. Who's gonna start it off?
You start.
Okay.
I feel like I started last time. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
But
all right. Well, my number 10 was also kind of a surprise for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I surprised myself. It's because Under the Silver Lake almost made it in here, and this kind of is the same kind of effect that it had on me in terms of like likability over time.
Right.
And it's just kind of an odd thing because it's by some directors that are well known, and I don't think people would say that this is their best film, but it's mine.
Yeah.
So my number 10 is the Coen brothers film A Serious Man.
Oh, nice.
Please, I need help. I've already talked to the other rabbis. Please. It's not about Danny's bar mitzvah. My boy Danny, this coming Shabbos, very joyous event. That's all fine. It's more about myself. I've had quite a bit at Tsuris lately. Marital problems, professional, you name it. This is not a frivolous request. This is I've tried to be a serious man, you know? Tried to do right, be a member of the community, raise Danny, Sarah, they both go to school, Hebrew school, a good breakfast. Well, Danny goes to Hebrew school. Sarah doesn't have time. She mostly washes her hair. Apparently, there are several steps involved, but you don't have to tell Marshak that. Just tell him I need help. Please? I need help.
I think that's a valid pick for a favorite Coen brother because it's one of their more unique ones, in my opinion.
It is, and because of that, not many people like it because it's so different.
I also just love the ending.
The ending is... no spoilers.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
That's all I'm saying. I just love the ending.
The ending really brings it home.
Yeah.
But... I don't know. It's just such a interesting film that caught me off guard at first.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, and there's so many people that are like, what, you're going to put that over, like, Big Lebowski and, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
There's definitely people that don't really like A Serious Man. I even have some friends that are into it, but then a couple other people, it's like one of their favorites. So it seems very mixed among Coen brother.
I mean, it's
fanatics.
understandable because, you know, not everyone's going to get it because it's very unorthodox in terms of, like, how a film plays out.
And it's like it's like the driest comedy ever.
Yeah, but it's definitely up my alley.
Yeah, I
in
love
the way
it.
that it's filmed.
It's one of my favorite Coen brothers
and
too.
It's the performance is performances of the film. The performances of the film are also just great. I'm trying to remember the name of the main actor, but it's a great movie that's about, like, I guess, finding purpose for things and, like, why bad things happen, and it has some, like, very unorthodox answers to all of that. And plus it's all just, like, really funny, and yeah, it's also a very it's one of the most Jewish movies I've ever seen, but I love it.
It really is.
It's done so well, and I think about it a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's one of those films that just, like, really stuck in my brain and just kind of festered and grew in there. And
because I remember when you watched it for the first time and you were like, dude, I think this is my favorite Coen brothers, and you mentioned it a lot, and then I finally watched it, and
we watched it together.
Yeah, and I loved it. So
yeah. I also I was just gonna say I love the beginning of it, but that's all I'm gonna really say. But yeah, A Serious Man by the Coen brothers. I recommend you guys go check it out. It won't be for everyone, but I personally love it. It's got some great cinematography and great framing, great editing and
it's
lighting.
got Deakins doing the cinematography, I think.
Roger Deakins?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I'm pretty sure he does that, and he's like the obvious typical popular cinematographer, but I mean he's great, obviously. So
that is,
I'm pretty sure he does that.
I'll fact check that, and I'll put whether it's right or wrong right here.
Yes, my homeboy Mitchell is correct. Roger Deakins was the cinematographer for A Serious Man.
Because Roger Deakins is mostly known for his, like, really fancy work, but
I like
it's
when
much
he does
more toned back and simple for this, but it still works. You know?
I'm pretty sure he did Fargo as well. And that movie
I still haven't seen Fargo.
Dude, you would like Fargo.
I'm sure I would. I just haven't had the chance.
That's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
A Serious Man would probably be like up there.
Yeah.
So
Serious Man is my number 10.
Nice.
The rabbi is busy.
He didn't look busy.
He's thinking.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
All right. So my number 10 is Children of Men.
The world was stunned today by the death of Diego Ricardo, the youngest person on the planet. Baby Diego was stabbed outside a bar in Buenos Aires after refusing to sign an autograph.
Witnesses at the scene say that Diego spat in the face of a fan who asked for an autograph. He was killed in the ensuing brawl. The fan was later beaten to death by the angry crowd. Born in 2009, the son of Marcelo and Silvia Ricardo, a working-class couple from Mendoza, he struggled all his life with the celebrity status thrust upon him as the world's youngest person.
Diego Ricardo, the youngest person on the planet, was 18 years, 4 months, 20 days, 16 hours, and 8 minutes old.
rhymes.
That rhymes. So, Children of Men is a movie. Like, it's at my number 10, but I don't think it would ever leave my 10 list. You know, I only put it at number 10 because I feel like of my list, it's probably the one I rewatch the least, but I still love it. I remember the first time I watched that movie, and it was the first time I really, really thought about the technical aspects of filming a movie, like actually with a camera, like what, like the talent of a cinematographer, you know, and choreography and timing things. It was the first time where something was happening on screen, and I was like, how many tries did this take? Like, and I was just thinking about it, but it wasn't distracting me because what's happening in the movie is so crazy and intense. And I'm sure I had moments like that before that movie, but I feel like that movie really sparked in me wanting to pay attention to things like that. And then because I remember I went back and watched Goodfellas, and for some reason I noticed the big long take scene more after that, and I just started paying attention more to like filmmaking, I feel like, because of that movie. So I just appreciate it. I love all of the actors and the performances in it. It's got a lot of really powerful moments, and it's not just one big long take. Like, there's a few like long take moments in this movie.
Yeah, it's not like the whole film is like one.
Yeah, no,
take.
There's just like 2 or 3 scenes that are just impeccably choreographed, and I love the pacing and the writing of the film, and it's just a really powerful theme. Just so many emotions in the end. Like, obviously no spoilers, but I always cry near the end. And it just really gets me. It's not the most complicated story or anything, but it's really striking the way it's told. And it's from the opening, like the opening is so just grabs your attention, and it holds you until the very, very end. And I love everything about it. As soon as I watched it, I knew it was one of my favorite movies, and it's probably always going to be. Like, I always have fun rewatching it. So, yeah, Children of Men.
I do like that film. I've only seen it once. But I own it. I think because you gave me the copy that you didn't want on DVD.
I think so, yeah.
But I remember really enjoying it. I enjoy watching Michael Caine play a really hippie character in a movie.
He's really fun in that movie. But yeah, and especially just the director. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his last name right, but Alfonso Cuarón, something like that. I know people are going to make fun of me.
Good old Alfonso.
But he's an amazing director. For those who don't know, he also did... this is probably not the best example, but it's the movie everyone knows. He did Gravity, which is probably his lesser movie. He did Roma, Y Tu Mama Tambien. He did Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is the best Harry Potter movie. And Y Tu Mama Tambien is it's up there.
Okay,
it goes Prisoner of Azkaban.
That's the one with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, but Y Tu Mama Tambien is amazing, and he did a lot of really good movies. He's a great director. So
good stuff. Children of Men.
It's good. I love it.
All right, so my number 9 is a little film called Manchester by the Sea.
Oh.
Hello, this is Lee. What happened to my brother?
I'm really sorry you couldn't get here in time.
I gotta get up there before school lets out.
So that's Lee Chandler. Lee Chandler, huh?
It was my impression that you'd spent a lot of time here over the years. Your brother has provided for Patrick's upkeep.
I don't understand. Well, I can't be his guardian.
I assumed Joe had discussed all this with you.
He didn't.
We've won
be. Do you want me to call your friends? I don't know. What do you want me to do? Trusty and true.
He can stay with us at weekends.
Do you want to be his guardian?
Well,
He doesn't want to be my guardian, for Christ's sake. He's got
We're trying to lose some
kids. Have you
kids at
seen
this
his
point.
house? Where are we going, to the orphanage?
Get in the car.
Can't obey your orders until you unlock the door. Shut up.
And we
If you can't take this on, that's your right.
What is done, what is past.
I said a lot of terrible things to you. My heart was broken. But I know yours is broken too.
One thing that can really push a film to be a number 10 for me is its emotional impact.
Yeah.
And this film is definitely heavy with all of that.
Yeah, I cried a lot in the theater when I watched that. I'm pretty sure we saw that together.
Yeah, we saw it together.
Yeah, when it
I
was
don't
in
remember
theaters.
you crying though, but you must have.
Oh, I was
teared up.
I totally was. Don't worry. I don't
worried,
move when
but-
I'm crying in public for a movie. I just sit there like a statue and I just don't move. And I'll kind of slowly, because I don't want anyone to see. I'll like slowly put my hand up. You know.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
But yeah, that movie got me really hard when I watched it.
Yeah, so Manchester by the Sea is. I realized with the Serious Man, I didn't really talk about what it was about, but we're past that. But Manchester by the Sea is about a man whose brother dies. I think he was of a heart attack or something.
Yeah,
and this brother has been living in a different town. And after his brother dies, he has to go back to his hometown and take care of things. And it turns out that he has to take care of his brother's son, of his nephew. And it's just a very touching film. It's led by Casey Affleck, and he does a great job. Casey Affleck does really well when he's like placed in the right role, because it's not like that he's like a very, outgoing actor or anything, but he's very more like chill, and it fits the character very well because he's very closed off with
and he really nailed all like the really intense and emotional moments without being over the top. I honestly haven't seen that movie since we saw it in theaters, but I still remember so much of it vividly because it just stuck with me. Like every time I think of that movie, I remember so much about it.
Yeah.
And I've still thought about it, and I've only seen it once, and I want to rewatch it, but the only reason I haven't is because I don't want to be depressed. Like it's literally the only reason I haven't watched it.
It doesn't hit me that hard. I think you get pretty emotionally invested in the movies.
Yeah, I do.
But I mean, it does hit me emotionally, but it's not like
especially subject matter like that and stuff that goes on is just like the particular things and stories that like usually get me pretty good for some reason. So it's like a nice little ingredient to make Mitchell sad.
Yeah. Just talk about like death and all that.
Yeah.
All that sad stuff. So it's is it Michelle Williams that's also in it?
I think so.
Yeah, and she does a great job in it as well. Just great performances, and it's just I also love the pacing of it. It's not the kind of movie that like is like, scene after scene after scene, holding your hand and making sure that you're entertained the whole time.
Yeah.
It's very slow, and those
Swell,
are a lot
really
of
dramatic music to make you sad.
Right, yeah. I actually really love the music for this movie. It's very simple, and it's very nice and calming.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love the atmosphere. It's like in the East Coast area, and that's like one of my favorite locations for movies to be made in, to be set in. And it's just a really emotional film, and it's slow, and it takes its time, and it's really interesting characters in the film, and it's very, very endearing, and I recommend it if you like sad movies, but also that have happy endings, because it has a happy ending. So
nice.
I guess I spoiled that, but
dang it.
Sorry, it has a happy ending. Okay, so we'll get on to your number 9 after this commercial break.
Wow.
So hold on to your hats if you're wearing hats, I don't know. I guess I just discriminated against people who can't wear hats for one reason or another.
Yeah, people without heads listening to a podcast.
I lost my head in World War II.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
Just a headless guy, and his voice is just like coming.
Well,
out
not
of,
even just like a whole head. I was picturing more like just the top of his.
Yeah. Oh my god. So,
but that would be his brain, so that doesn't really
awful.
make sense. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be sensitive, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'm not gonna bother you. I'm gonna just sit here until you calm down.
All right, I'm calmer now. Could you please just go away?
No.
I may be dim, but it's always dark before the glorious sunrise.
My number 9 is...
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Welcome
Let's
back.
go right into it. Welcome back to the Podwood Forecast. I'm Mitchell.
And I'm Clifford. And I hope you enjoyed our commercial.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great.
About Anchor, probably.
Anchor. There's some...
Sorry, I almost dropped my phone. Oh, I
You
peeked.
need that. Also, don't forget to vote.
Do it, cowards.
I don't know when this episode is getting out. It'll probably be too late.
Hopefully before.
I mean, if the elections have passed, just go and vote anyway.
Yeah,
vote for something.
Just go like on Twitter and vote for. Go find a random Twitter poll and just vote on it. Don't even look at the answer. Just click on something.
Let your voice be heard. All right.
Let your thumbs be on your screen.
Yep.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying. Your number 9.
My number 9.
Number 9.
So we're
Turn
on my
me on, dead man. Sorry.
Oh my god.
That's the Beatles.
So we are going back to our top 10 movies of all time, and we're on my number 9. We just talked about Clifford's number 9.
Number 9.
Now we're on my number 9.
Number 9.
And the reason we're on my number 9 is because Clifford just did his number 9, which means it's my turn for my number 9.
Thanks, Mitchell, for holding our hands through this whole podcast.
You're welcome. So anyways,
if you don't understand what's going on in this podcast, then you won't like any of these
you better
movies.
know now. So anyways, my number 9.
Number 9.
I'm trying to decide if you're gonna expect this one to be in my list.
We'll see.
You might. I think you will.
My body is ready.
My number 9 is Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Not too long ago, I was quite the professional. My friends and I, we were the creme de la creme in an exclusive industry. And we all worked for this man, Bill. Then one day, I decided to leave, settle down, and start a new life. But when I tried to get out, they did me in. Don't you ever wake up. I guess they should have tried a little harder.
So I suppose it's a little late for an apology, huh?
You suppose correctly. Now it's kill or be killed.
You have every right to want to get even.
Get even? Even, Stephen? I would have to kill you.
That'd be about square.
And I choose kill.
Mommy, I'm home. Hey, baby. How was school?
One ticket to Tokyo, please. One way.
That woman deserves her revenge. And we deserve to die.
No kidding. I heard it was kind of hard.
I'm considering them one movie.
Okay.
Because they are one movie.
Yeah. Those would be your favorite Tarantino films.
My favorite
right?
Tarantino
so
movies.
That's not too surprising.
Yeah, because I had been mentioning how I loved those a lot to you recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had watched those when I was a teenager and I liked them, you know. But then I got really into Tarantino and watched all of his movies, and I was like, I haven't watched Kill Bill in so long, and it was a few months ago. It was like earlier this year. I can't remember when. But I was like, I want to rewatch it. And I just loved it. I loved it so much. Like everything about it. And then I rewatched it again a week later, and I rewatched it like last week.
Oh,
like,
wow.
So I've watched Kill Bill 1 and 2 like 3 times this year.
Jeez.
A couple times it was just like background more so while I was doing something, but they're just so fun, and I love the story. It's not super complicated, but there's still a lot going on to keep you interested constantly.
Yeah.
Uma Thurman, it's her best role ever. The music choices are, it's a bunch of like, it's not like an original score. It's a bunch of, music from other things.
Tarantino's playlist.
Yeah,
before they
essentially.
were playlists.
But it's really well utilized, and just the whole cast is great. The guy who plays Bill is awesome. I feel like I'm one of the few people that kind of likes 2 a little more than 1. I think Kill Bill 1 has better fights, but I love the story elements of 2 a lot more, and I think the ending is like awesome. We keep saying that for every one of these movies. The ending's awesome.
Sorry.
But
Spoilers.
without spoiling, I like how 2 is so different from 1, but it still feels like part of the same movie. Because it was filmed as one movie, and he had to split it up because they didn't want to put out like a 4-hour-long movie.
Right.
But yeah, they're just super fun. It kind of got me into this kick of wanting to watch samurai movie. It's not a samurai movie, but it has elements like where she goes to get the sword and she trains with her master and stuff. And it made me want to watch like
it's like a modern samurai film.
Kinda, yeah, like kung fu samurai elements,
kind of like how No Country for Old Men is a modern western.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally elements taken directly from like kung fu movies, like even her outfit, Jackie Chan. And the first one has a lot of cool stuff, like the anime sequence in the first movie. The animated sequence is super cool. It's just really creative. I feel like it's the movie he went out on the most in terms of production and creativity.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's just so engaging, and I have so much fun watching it, and it's super overly violent, but not in a way that grosses me out or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a really great film, and just visually and aesthetically and production wise, just everything about it blows me away. And
great story, and it's a great revenge story.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a great revenge story.
It's like the perfect revenge movie, and it reincorporates a lot of things too, where it's like, oh, she learns this thing and it comes into play later, and you're like, yeah, go kill Bill, like
go kill him.
But
kill that guy, step on him.
And it's just such a satisfying like story, and this is one of those movies that as soon as it starts,
dude, you just spoiled it that it's satisfying.
Yeah, dang. It ends well. Dang it. I didn't know if it was going to end well or not.
Honestly, with the kind of movies that we like, that sometimes is kind of a spoiler.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I watched the Kill Bill movies for the first time within like the past year, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were on Netflix, and I was because I was working on, watching all the Tarantino movies, and I had not seen Kill Bill yet, even though I'd watched like so many other Tarantino films. And I wouldn't say that it's my favorite, but they're very enjoyable. A lot of fun. Like, that's all you can really say about it, honestly.
I feel like it's his most unique. Like, I feel like none of his other films are like it, even though it still feels very much like his style. I just love that he went all out and made like a live action anime movie, essentially is like what it is, and it's just a tribute to it makes me want to watch more movies like that it was influenced by, because it really is just like a love letter to that genre of movies without just being a ripoff, and it got me to want to start watching samurai films for some reason. I was like, I've been wanting to watch samurai films and stuff like that. And then I started watching Akira Kurosawa movies, and then he became my favorite director, honestly. So I found a lot more movies I love because of this movie too.
Tarantino kind of tends to do that because he does a great job at like paying homage to, or homage, or however you say it. Homage. Whatever the correct way to say it is. But he does that a lot with his films because Tarantino is a guy that just really loves films. I feel like the way that he makes films is kind of like my approach to like making music.
Right.
Because like there's music that I love and I like to like put into the music that I make, you know, and he kind of does the same thing with like pretty much everything he makes. And I think it's great. It's not copycatting, it's just, you know, getting great inspiration.
Yeah, yeah, it's not ripping off, it's just you know where he's coming from, but he's making it his own thing.
Yeah,
that's why I like, you know, when like his more Western style movies like made me want to go watch Western movies. You know, like a lot of his films have that effect. So yeah. So Kill Bill, I love them. Like a year ago, I wouldn't have thought they would be considered one of my favorite movies or anything. But every time I think of them, I love everything about them, and I can rewatch them constantly, which is rewatchability is a huge play into like my favorite movies. So
yeah. I hear you. That was your number.
That was my number 9.
Yeah.
You didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you? For a second there? Yeah, I kind of did. Silly rabbit. Hard part's over.
I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, but I feel like that there's one movie that you're going to be surprised that didn't end up on my list. Because I was saying earlier, going through this list, I was actually surprised as to how much changed. Because I feel like 2 years ago, I did have like my top 10 films, or at least my top 5, just like set in my mind, and I never thought that they were going to change. And I guess it's just because my tastes have changed over the years.
That's how I felt. I had some that I thought would be higher up, and some that didn't make it at all. And I got a new favorite movie just this year too. Like it's just been recent, like very recent developments.
Yeah.
That's also because I've just been on a huge movie kick these past couple of years, and I've watched so many movies like from multiple decades.
Yeah.
So I've been catching up on movies that I knew I would probably like, and I end up loving a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, same here. So I mean, there were some that have made it to my list that, you know, they have stood the test of time to me that I've known about for years. But okay, so my number 8 in my list is a film from the 80s called Akira.
Oh, okay. I was expecting that one, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a great film. If for those of you that don't know, Akira is actually an anime film, because I'm such a weeb.
Loser. Loser alert.
You're a loser.
Feel bad.
You feeling sorry for yourself? Baby want a bottle?
I hate it.
Anyways, so Akira is it's an anime film by Katsuhiro Otomo.
Good job.
Katsuhiro Otomo. And it's a futuristic film that has like biker gangs, and is very like very sci-fi kind of.
It's got like cyberpunk elements kind of.
Yeah. And it's very hard to explain because it gets really complex.
Surprisingly complex. I remember I just thought the movie was going to be some action movie about a bike gang, and
it turns
dear
into...
Lord, was I wrong? Like, whoa. I love this movie, by the way. I mean, this isn't a spoiler because it's not on my list, but it's probably my second favorite like anime movie. Princess Mononoke is my favorite.
I do
That's
love
not
Princess
on my list,
Mononoke.
but yeah, Princess Mononoke and Akira are like my two favorite like animated anime films.
I would say the same, but
Yeah.
Akira is definitely my favorite. And I guess according to this list, which will be a hint for what is to come, it is my second favorite animated film.
Ooh.
So, but I love it so much. Honestly, this is gonna make me a fake fan, but I have not watched the original dub. Or not dub, but I have not watched it in the original Japanese yet.
Yeah.
Which I intend to, because I have my eye on to buy this like special edition Blu-ray that has all of them.
I think people generally agree the dub is pretty decent, though.
It's pretty decent. I've seen some people kind of complaining about it, saying that it kind of makes it seem a little bit more cartoony than it actually is.
Oh, right.
And I could see that. That's just the only version that I've known.
Yeah, same.
Just little moments that I can think about. It's like, yeah, I can imagine that coming off as too cartoony.
Yeah.
But
you have the soundtrack on vinyl, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is I love this soundtrack so much. And it's
really
the only
good.
soundtrack that I have so far that is on vinyl. That's how good it is. I think I've talked about the soundtrack before because I know the soundtrack for Uncut Gems really reminded me of it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's very like synth wave mixed in with like Japanese world music.
Yeah,
and
it's super cool.
And it's
definitely, I think that's one of my 10 out of 10 movies for sure. Like, I love it.
I am seeing your rating on Letterboxd right now, and it is a 10.
Okay,
So-
that's what I thought, yeah.
Let's see, what did you say?
Oh,
Your
no.
review for Akira
I forget what it is.
was Shakira.
What the heck? Oh my gosh. I
like,
don't
wow.
remember doing that. Man, I'm funny.
Well, I remember you wrote that like the same night that we watched it.
What day? What's the date on that?
May 31st, 2019.
Oh my lord, it was that long ago?
Yeah.
I need to watch it again. I didn't know it had been that long.
Yeah.
I think that's last time I watched it.
I want to buy the Blu-ray and I want to watch the original version and see how I feel about it. But
Yeah.
even then, this movie is definitely more about the spectacle. That like the story's great and it's very complex.
Yeah.
But the spectacle of the film is definitely the strong point for like it's animated very well. I love the atmosphere of it, like how like I think it's Tokyo. Yeah, it's Neo Tokyo, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Like the way that the colors and lighting really is, and just like in an animated film from 1988 is
It's like my favorite
amazing.
aesthetic, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like that cyberpunk, like neon, like stuff is so cool. And I really need to watch not the Scarlett Johansson one, but I want to watch Ghost in the Shell because everyone who's like, oh, you like Akira, you need to watch Ghost in the Shell, and I'm like, okay, so that's probably something we need to put on our checklist.
Yeah, definitely. I have been interested to see it. That and what is it? Perfect Blue, I think. That's an anime film.
I've heard of
I wanna
that, yeah.
see. So I guess because I can't really explain the plot, but I'll just read the summary of it. A secret military project endangers Neo Tokyo when it turns a biker gang member into a rampaging psychic psychopath that only two teenagers in a group of psychics can stop. And it gets really crazy, like just mind-blowingly, and the animation just like near the end is just
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
So-
especially for the time, it's a pretty old movie at this point.
yeah,
you know?
1988. It's really impressive.
I love 80s animation for some reason. It just has
Me
such
too.
a
It's my favorite like anime style.
Yeah,
is the 80s.
It's before like no judgment if like you're into
It's
it.
for
but,
like the kawaii kind of.
yeah,
like,
it's before all the really over exaggerated features like huge eyes and stuff. Like it has a very distinct style,
Yeah.
and I like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, same. So that's all I can really say about it. Akira or Akira. Akira is the right way to say it. Shakira. And like ever since I first saw it, it just like really made an impression on. Because I saw it like years ago. I was a teenager when I saw it. I watched it because a youth pastor of mine at the time, they got a bunch of Blu-rays, and so he had a bunch of DVDs that he wanted to get rid of. Oh. And so he just gave, like, Akira was just a part of that collection.
I thought you were about to say, like, yeah, our youth pastor, like, played it at youth group. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Oh.
Yeah,
it's like, not very Christ-like.
No. This, by the way, this film is rated R.
Yeah.
So don't think that because it's animated that your kids can watch it, because they should.
Please, God.
Yeah, please don't. So, Akira, that's 8, right?
Yeah.
8. That's my number 8. So, yeah.
So my number 8 is Spike Jonze's adaptation.
Yes. Sir, what if a writer is attempting to create a story where nothing much happens, where people don't change, they don't have any epiphanies, they struggle and are frustrated and nothing is resolved? More a reflection of the real world.
The real world?
Yes, sir.
The real f***ing world. First of all, you write a screenplay without conflict or crisis, you'll bore your audience to tears. Secondly, nothing happens in the world? Are you out of your f***ing mind? People are murdered every day. There's genocide, war, corruption. Every f***ing day, somewhere in the world, somebody sacrifices his life to save somebody else. Every f***ing day, someone somewhere takes a conscious decision to destroy someone else. People find love. People lose it. For Christ's sake, a child watches a mother beaten to death on the steps of a church. Someone goes hungry. Somebody else betrays his best friend for a woman. If you can't find that stuff in life, then you, my friend, don't know crap about life. And why the f*** are you wasting my 2 precious hours with your movie? I don't have any use for it. I don't have any bloody use for it.
Okay, thanks.
Written by Charlie Kaufman.
Not surprised.
Yeah, this movie I was obsessed with the second I watched it. It really, really blew me away. I feel like it's one of those movies where as soon as the credits rolled, I just knew it was going to be one of my favorite movies. Like I wanted to think about it. I wanted to rewatch it. It's not the most. You can watch this movie and it might just seem like a pretty simple standard movie, you know, but
if you're dumb,
it's the way the script is done, because Charlie Kaufman is brilliant and he's my favorite screenwriter.
If you don't know Charlie Kaufman, he's known for writing Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Being John Malkovich, and Synecdoche, New York, and most recently, I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Yeah, and he also directed and wrote that, Synecdoche and Anomalisa.
Oh, yes, which I still have not seen.
But he's mostly done scripts, because he wrote this one, but was directed by Spike Jonze, who is an amazing director. But yeah, this movie, it stars Nicolas Cage, and I don't care what people say. I know Nicolas Cage is known for being stupid and over the top and National Treasure, but when he really goes in on a role, he is legitimately probably one of my favorite actors. He is so, even when he is goofy and over the top, I've kind of gotten to this point with Nicolas Cage where I just love him, no matter what. Like,
he is literally hit or miss, honestly. Like when he hits hard,
because he does a lot of movies.
When
just
he misses hard.
Yeah, because like Left Behind and stuff. Like what are you
talking about? That movie was a masterpiece.
Because he needs his paycheck sometimes. He just does
not
whatever.
as good as Kirk Cameron though.
Yeah, but when he goes in on a role, he's so good. In this movie, he plays twins. He plays himself and his twin brother, and he's playing Charlie Kaufman in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'll try to explain the plot of this movie real quick.
Good luck.
So the story behind this film, there's a book called The Orchid Thief, and Charlie Kaufman in real life was told to adapt a screenplay to turn it into a movie. This movie is just about him. He just ended up writing a screenplay about him trying to adapt this book.
Yeah.
Essentially. But the movie itself is still an actual adaptation, about the book intertwined with him just trying to turn it into a movie, and it's super weird.
It is the most meta film,
and it's you can watch it, and if you don't really know the screenwriter and the story of that, it's probably just going to seem like a movie about a screenwriter who gets into weird shenanigans.
Yeah.
But knowing that and watching the movie and having a moment where he's like, and then this happens, and as he's saying it, it's happening in the movie, and you're like, oh, this is what's happening right now, and this is him writing this scene, and I'm watching it, and it kind of blows your mind a little.
Yeah.
But it's so subtle. Like, I feel like it would be pretty
You could
easy.
miss it if you're not paying attention.
A lot of people probably wouldn't pick up on what makes this movie interesting.
Yeah.
But it kind of blew me away when I watched it, and I think it's probably my favorite screenplay, like, of all time, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just because of how complexly simple it is, because it's I've never seen a movie like it, and it's really unique, and it also has, he's just so good in it. It's like his best performance. He plays two characters that are twins, and his subtle differences between them is so good. Like, you know which one is which when you see them, and he does a great job. It's not the most flashy movie in terms of the way it's filmed or, its cinematography,
It's not like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind where, like, everything is, like, falling around.
Fancy lighting.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's not, like, the most mind-blowing visually, but
Yeah.
it's all about the substance and the way the story is told.
The script, everything.
And it's very meta and critical of, like, movie screenplays in general. And it's just brilliant, and I can't go into more depth without spoiling it, so I won't.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in something like that, check it out, because it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And pay attention to all the dialogue and, like, what's happening, because it's so smart without being pretentious and over the top.
I think there are those who could argue that like, for them personally, it could be pretentious.
Yeah.
But I guess I
think if you
that
watch
just depends on how intelligent you are.
Yeah, I don't think you could watch it and think it's pretentious. I think the pretentiousness would come from listening to people like me explain it.
Yeah.
Because if you just watch the movie, it does come across as a pretty just standard movie about, like, a guy who's writing a movie, and then he gets involved with these other characters.
Yeah.
On a surface level, but when it comes to analyzing it, I think that's when it might get a little weird for people. But I don't think it's that complicated to understand.
No.
As long as you just keep in mind that the main character of the movie is the person who wrote the movie being played by Nicolas Cage. Yeah. And you're just watching the movie. You're watching a movie about a guy writing the movie that you're watching.
Yeah.
So just, it's really not that complicated. It's not an art house film, but I love it. It blew my mind, and I've rewatched it like 5 times. So.
Yeah, I really need to go back to it, especially now because which I'd love to have a conversation about this movie, but, like, I'm thinking of ending things.
Oh yeah,
like right when I saw that, I gave it like a 4. Well, I gave it a 9.
Yeah,
but I've been thinking of, like, pushing it up to 10, and it makes me really want to rewatch Adaptation, because I think that would also be up there, because I'm thinking of ending things, and Adaptation is definitely up there with my favorite, like, Charlie Kaufman film.
Yeah, Adaptation. I think every movie I've seen from him, I've given, like, a perfect score. It's crazy. I just love, and I think I also have I'm thinking of ending things at 9 right now, but I've still been thinking about that movie a lot too.
I'm thinking of ending things?
Yeah. But that could be a whole podcast episode. But yeah, he's just brilliant. I love him. And yeah, in that movie.
He needs to make more movies.
And it's also fun. It's a fun movie to watch because Nicolas Cage is really entertaining. But he's not,
he doesn't
like,
ham it
wacky
up or anything.
Yeah, he's not, like, screaming and running. Like, it's just a good performance.
Yeah.
And he plays twins, and it's cool to see.
It's very much like I kind of view Nicolas Cage and Adam Sandler, like, the same way.
Kinda, yeah.
Like, if you put them in the right role, then they can do great.
It's funny because they're known for a lot of bad movies, but,
Yeah, exactly.
But they're also in some of like the best movies ever.
Yeah.
It's and this is super random, but I was looking at Nicolas Cage's filmography, and he's been in like a David Lynch and Martin Scorsese. He played the lead in a Martin Scorsese and David Lynch movie, and their movies.
Wait, Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, and I've never seen them, and I heard they're really good, and I want to watch them. They're old. They're pretty old ones.
Okay.
But they seem really cool. But I learned that this year. I was like, I didn't know Nicolas Cage was the lead in a Scorsese movie. What the heck?
That is interesting.
So I want to watch that. But
yeah, I gotta look that up.
Nicolas Cage is awesome if you watch the right movies. So
yeah,
watch the right
National
movies.
Treasure. I mean
that's actually good.
It's I
enjoy it.
It's fun. It's like Indiana Jones, but like American history.
Yeah,
and such. With less whip cracking.
Yeah. He's good in Lord of War and Color Out of Space and stuff too.
I haven't seen either of
Mandy.
But I haven't seen Mandy either, but
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like Nicolas Cage in it, but I don't love the movie.
Right.
It's a little weird.
My leg hurts. I wonder if it's cancer. There's a bump. I'm starting to sweat. Stop sweating. I've got to stop sweating. Can she see it dripping down my forehead? Oh, she looked at my hairline. She thinks I'm bald.
We think you're great.
Oh, wow. Thanks. That's nice to hear.
We all just loved the Malkovich script.
Thanks.
Such a unique voice. Boy, I'd love to find a portal into your brain.
Trust me, it's no fun.
Anyways, won't get too far off topic. So your number 7, I believe.
My number... Wait, right? Let's see. 10, 9, 8, 7. Yep, 7. My number 7 is... It is definitely one of those films that I saw years ago and has been a favorite and has kind of stood the test of time. I used to have it higher. I'd have to rewatch it because I think that there are some technical aspects of it that aren't amazing. But I personally am just a sucker for the hero's journey in a film. And so my number 7 happens to be a film that I have the poster of in this very room, Gladiator.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Lean and hungry. Still love him?
Not a sign.
How long has he been gone?
Nearly 2 hours. Will they fight, son?
We shall know soon enough.
Soldier, I ordered you to move those catapults forward. They're out of range.
Range is good.
The danger to the cavalry
is acceptable. Agree. They say no.
People should know when they're conquered.
Would you, Quintus? Would I? Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
At my signal, unleash hell.
Yeah, I don't know, it's Gladiator.
It's really that, honestly, spoiler for my list, it's not in my list, but it used to be my second favorite movie of all time. I still love it though. I adore that movie. I have such a sentiment for it because I watched it so much growing up, and I cry like a baby every time I watch it. The end, we're mentioning the end again,
even though this film has been around for 20 years.
Yeah, but I cry every single time I've watched that movie. I cry.
Yeah,
it's so great.
It's a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. It's your straightforward, guy who's been done wrong. It's set in ancient Rome, and Russell Crowe's in it. Russell Crowe used to be my favorite actor of all time. I mean, I love him in this film, but he plays a Roman general who he gets wronged because which is actually, this is Joaquin Phoenix's first big role.
Yeah, it was the first movie I ever saw him in, and years later I didn't even realize, because when I started to really like Joaquin Phoenix, I was like, wait, he was in Gladiator. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's the bad guy in Gladiator, and it's honestly, I don't know how he didn't become a star after this movie.
I know, he's so good in it.
Took a long time for like people to finally be like, I mean, he only just got his first Oscar.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's wrong with people, but
yeah.
But he does great in this, and Russell Crowe is great in it. Joaquin Phoenix plays the son of the Emperor. The Emperor's like, you're not going to be the Emperor after I die. And so Joaquin Phoenix kills him and doesn't tell anyone. And then Russell Crowe is like, something's fishy. But when he starts challenging Joaquin Phoenix, he gets arrested, and his wife and son end up getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so thus begins
the
story, this vengeance story, and it's just such a great hero's tale of, he starts as a general, and then he gets cut down he becomes a slave that ends up fighting in the arena as a gladiator.
Yeah.
Name of the movie.
That fight scene is like one of the best things ever.
Which fight
scene? The big gladiator.
With the chariots and such?
Yeah, in the arena with all the chariots. Yeah, that scene is so cool. When I was at my job, when I got hired there and they were doing training, they used that clip to demonstrate teamwork.
That's perfect.
And my boss was like, I just like that movie. I just wanted to show it.
Form a wall!
Yeah, it's so cool. And the sets and production of that movie, like Ridley Scott, even when his movies aren't that good, he still does impeccable production design.
Yeah, he puts a lot of work.
And that movie is no exception. I feel like Gladiator was his last classic, like his last really good movie.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't think of anything since then that has been groundbreaking. There was a time where I really loved Robin Hood, but it's kind of lost its quality for me personally. And I don't know. Black Hawk Down. That was, I believe, was after Gladiator, and that's a great film.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Really?
I don't know if I have, actually. I may have once in high school.
The one where Orlando Bloom is in it, and he becomes knocked unconscious in the first 10 minutes. It's not. It's a very young Orlando Bloom.
I may have seen it. I think I've seen it once, forever ago.
It's really good.
I don't really remember it.
Ewan McGregor and a bunch of other really good actors.
I may have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I own it. You watch it sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Gladiator is it's a classic for a reason, and it makes me miss the days of where they made epic, because I'm a huge nerd when it comes to swords and epic tales, and it makes me miss the days of when people actually put an effort into these kinds of films.
Yeah, because what makes movies like that for me is when you can tell it's all about the actual sets and production value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what makes movies like that for me.
Also
really good locations and stuff. And
there have been some films that have been released recently that did a really good job in that area, but kind of lacked the story.
Yeah,
and grabbing characters and such. There's The King and Outlaw King, and I felt like they kind of failed in those areas.
You almost have to make sure both are good, and I feel like that's why movies like that are so hard to have be good.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of movies in settings like that are really good, I feel.
Yeah, because I think a lot of directors think that people just want to see swords and people fighting. No, it's a lot more than that.
If you don't have the budget to make the world look believable, that really takes you out of it.
Yeah, but also if you don't have a script that's like grabbing, then it's just gonna be just a cool, like, I don't know, man candy or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the right? That's probably not
candy.
the right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a man and I want to watch something masculine.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
But anyways, yeah, Gladiator. It's my
Cool.
number 7 Ridley Scott film. Yeah, there
Nice.
we go.
How dare you show your back to me? Slave! Will you remove your helmet and tell me your name?
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Time for my number 7.
Oh boy!
So my number 7, it's actually convenient because of how we were talking about adaptation, Nicolas Cage, and you mentioned Adam Sandler.
Is it National Treasure?
No. No, we mentioned Adam Sandler being a really good actor.
Oh, okay.
So my number 7 is Punch Drunk Love.
I wanted to ask you something because you're a doctor, right?
Yeah.
I don't like myself sometimes. Can you help me?
Barry, I'm a dentist.
Hi, this is Georgia.
This is Barry Egan.
So what do you do, Barry?
I have my own business. We have a non-breakable handle. Let me demonstrate for you.
You're married, aren't you?
No.
Barry, that's your sister.
There's this friend of mine from work, and I want you to meet her. This is Lena.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
It must be weird for you to have so many sisters.
Actually, no. It's very nice.
Remember we used to call you gay boy and get all mad?
What's that?
We were calling you gay boy and you got so mad.
I saw your picture, and I really wanted to meet you.
What are you lying?
No. I didn't want to get too far along on going out and be hiding something.
This is Barry.
Hey, it's Georgia.
How did you get this number?
I was wondering if maybe you could help me out with some money.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
You've just made a war for yourself that you can't afford.
I'm going to Hawaii on Friday.
Hawaii? I was thinking about going there.
Really?
I'm gonna start a collection of puddings and coupons that can be redeemed for frequent flyer miles.
That's insane.
This is Barry.
You canceled your credit card.
That's a bunch of bull! Get your supervisor on the phone!
Yeah.
What's your name, sir? You're sick. No. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Are you threatening me?
Yes.
That wasn't good! You're dead!
So I was deciding between a few Paul Thomas Anderson movies. This is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, one of my favorite
But you
directors.
already had one in your honorable mentions.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to choose between this Phantom Thread and There Will Be Blood, and I ended up going with this one solely because it's the one I rewatched the most of all of his movies. Even though at one point I was like, I think Phantom Thread is my favorite, and I almost put that here, but I decided to go with Punch Drunk Love because it's more rewatchable to me. I've watched it a lot. I've probably seen it like 6 times. It's Adam Sandler's. I honestly, between this and Uncut Gems, I don't know which performance I like more from him.
They're both great.
They're both amazing, but they're both so different too.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about it is he plays like opposite characters. Like one is shy and quiet and awkward, and the other one is loud and obnoxious and rude.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. His range is kind of impressive.
It's almost like the two different sides of Adam Sandler that you could see in other films. They're just worse films.
Exactly. But I love it. Everything about it. The story is really sweet and has a lot of like horribly relatable moments for me. Especially just when this isn't a spoiler, but there's one moment I remember just being like, yeah, I feel that when he's with all of his sisters. This isn't like particular to my sisters, obviously, because this isn't a thing. But when I'm in a crowd in general.
Are you listening, Mitchell's sisters?
But for him in the movie, it's his sisters, and he has a lot of sisters, and they're all like hounding on him and like asking him questions and bugging him, and they won't leave him alone. And he just breaks the glass door because they're all like calling him names and like bugging him, and they won't leave him alone. And I just kind of like weirdly relate to that when I'm in crowds of people, and I get weirdly anxious. I just want to like get away and break something. So it's really weird, and his character is kind of quirky at times, but it's not done in a really funny way. It's kind of sad and depressing, but
what is the film about?
The film is about a guy who finds a piano on the side of the road, and he becomes really attached to it, and then he gets set up with this girl, and he starts dating her, and then he learns how to play the piano.
Well, there's also, he gets tied in with like this scam company or whatever.
He's like super lonely, so he like calls like a place, and they scam
sex hotline, whatever.
Yeah, so they get his credit card info, and they scam him, and then he is like being stalked by them while also dealing with the anxiety of dealing with his family, and then also the anxiety of dealing with trying to date this girl and his job. And it's just this character who is trying his best and everything is just stressful and exhausting, and it's relatable sometimes. But it's mainly this love story.
Yeah.
It's in the title, obviously, Punch Drunk Love. And there's a lot of analysis that can go into this movie, a lot of things like what the little piano he finds represents and stuff, and how that's symbolic, and all this stuff. But there's a lot to dig into the movie, but it's pretty much just a love story when you really get down to the basics of it. And it's a really, really well-told one, very realistic. I love the dialogue. I love the chemistry. The character interactions in this movie is all believable, but it's not like horribly realistic. Some of it feels a little exaggerated, but purposefully, you know. And Adam Sandler does a fantastic job. I love the style of the movie. There's a lot of lens flare and really brilliant use of color that goes into like, you know, the character's clothing is wearing like he's wearing a certain color, and that represents this, and there's just a lot of things you can pick up on, but you can still enjoy the movie without doing that. It's not like adaptation where the main point of the movie is kind of realizing how meta it is. This movie, I think it's really easy to enjoy just watching it. And also the music in this movie is insanely unique. It's like noise almost. It's very bizarre,
very calming. It's very peaceful.
But it's kind of anxiety inducing and stuff, the way it builds up, and when he's just trying to deal with everything that's going on. And I just really love it. It's not like a plot that I can really talk about too much, because it's just a love story, you know.
It's like things happen.
Yeah, but
it's great.
The enjoyment from it comes from the presentation and the weirdness of it, because it is kind of weird. Like some people would probably watch this and be like, "What is this movie?"
Yeah,
I love the way it starts too, and there's so many layers to it that there is a lot to dig into with this movie. But if you don't want to do that, I think it's still easy to enjoy too. Because there are some movies where if you don't, like, I'm thinking of Ending Things as like a movie where if you don't dig into every little detail of that movie, you're probably just not going to like it, you know?
Yeah.
But this movie, you can do that. But if you don't, you could still enjoy it for what it is. And I think that's impressive to do something like that.
Yeah.
To have a movie that's got like kind of art housey elements, but not totally rely on that, and to still be pretty accessible for people to just kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's just a really great story. Very well directed in every regard, brilliantly acted. I just love it.
Yeah, it's I love that film too. I actually just got my own copy of the Criterion edition on Blu-ray, and
which
I'm very
I need.
happy. Yeah, I guess I'm a better fan than
Yeah,
you.
apparently.
But I mean, I wouldn't even say it isn't my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film.
Yeah.
But it's definitely well, there's hardly been any Paul Thomas Anderson film that I don't like that I've seen yet. But it is great, and I've only seen it once so far, and that's just quite a testament to like how good it is, because like whenever I think about it, I just get happy because I know that it's good, and that's why I did end up buying it.
Sometimes it's nice when a movie is so good that you don't really need to rewatch it because you just remember so much of it already.
Yeah,
because it just sticks with you that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I've probably seen it like 5 or 6 times. I think.
Yeah,
I've
I'm
watched it a
overdue
lot.
for a rewatch.
I would watch it again.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
Number
So
7.
that was your number 7, or was that was your number 7?
I have so much strength in me, you have no idea. I have a love in my life. It makes me stronger than anything you can imagine.
He needs me, 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 he needs me.
Okay, so my number 6. This next one is just kind of quite a testament to how good it is, because it's a very, very recent film, but it had such an effect on me that it had to make it on the top 10. And I saw it again recently for like the 3rd time since being released last year. 3rd or 4th time, I don't know.
Oh, I know what it is.
It is The Lighthouse.
Yep, called it. Nice.
Tell me, what's a timberman want with being a wiki?
Just looking to earn a living, just like any man. Starting new.
On the run. Keeping secrets, are you?
No, sir.
Why don't you spill your beans? Why don't you spill your beans? Why don't you spill your beans?
Which we've already had a episode about, so you can hear some of our thoughts on it on our Joker and the Lighthouse pod.
It was
episode.
one of, if not my favorite movie that year.
Yeah, it was my
like,
favorite.
It was
movie
like
that
tied
year.
with Uncut Gems, I think.
Yeah, which is Uncut Gems was an honorable mention, but the Lighthouse, like, wow. It is.
I haven't watched it in quite a while, but I think I've seen it twice.
It gets better with like every rewatch.
Yeah.
I mean, like, nothing's gonna top like the first time that I ever watched it.
Right, yeah.
Because just like watching that whole thing and just being like, what the crap?
What is happening?
It is so. It's crazy. It's a crazy film, and the premise of it is 2 guys get stuck on an island, and they look after a lighthouse.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
How exciting.
And you watch how these 2 individuals played phenomenally by Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
It's like probably my favorite duo like I've seen in a movie in so long. Like, honestly, they just were so perfect together, and it seems like a weird pair, but they're some of my favorite
the
actors.
Twilight guy and
Green Goblin. Yeah. Like, they were so good, and just the way they worked together and seeing all the behind the scenes and how they actually built a lot of stuff on that island.
The whole
set.
building was built from scratch.
They tried to film in actual storms, like
Yep.
Some of the storms were just real, like they were actually standing out there in
Yep.
an actual storm.
And they built
very authentically made.
The actual light in the lighthouse was built from scratch.
Yeah.
And also something else that I didn't know until watching the behind the scenes recently is that Robert Pattinson did most of his stunts in there.
Oh,
like
really?
the scene where he's like hanging while like washing the side of the wall.
Yeah.
Like that's actually him up there.
Oh, wow.
There's like footage of him like dangling from a rope.
Oh, dang.
So I was like, oh, okay.
That's awesome.
So yeah, The Lighthouse, directed by Robert Eggers. It's just it's beautifully made because it's filmed in the
4:3 or
4:3
whatever.
aspect ratio, all in black and white, and I love it because it really I watch it and I forget that it's not an old movie.
Yeah,
sometimes.
it captures the feeling of a really old movie so well. There was specifically one scene where it's like a big shot of the island and there's a lightning bolt, and it made me think of an old like Universal monster movie for some reason. Like it has such this classic vibe to it.
It doesn't look tacky.
No,
at all.
it looks well done. None of it looks cheap, you know.
Yeah.
Like it has the benefits of modern filmmaking, but it captures this like I guess spirit of older movies, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, there isn't really a whole lot more to say to it because it's like
you can't really dive into it without ruining it for people who haven't seen it.
But just suffice it to say that, well, I love the script. I
Yeah.
love
The dialogue is so brilliant.
The
in
dialogue
movie.
is great. Oh yeah, that's one great thing about
I mean, that's
Robert
the
Eggers.
movie is the dialogue basically.
Yeah,
it's like the point.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely. And Robert Eggers always has this great knack for like really researching his subject matter of his films, like The Witch. You know, he does a great job at like finding the actual like dialogue of how people spoke in
Yeah.
that certain time period and that area.
Yeah, like accents and dialect and certain words and stuff. And
Yeah, it was so fun because I watched it with my girlfriend recently, and we had to put subtitles on, and it's like for the first time I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that they said that.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like it would be better with subtitles. I haven't watched it with subtitles yet.
yeah, it's I kind of I tend to do that with a lot of the movies I watch anyways because
I tend to
helps
now,
me
yeah.
it helps me pay attention more to certain details.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Lighthouse, wonderfully directed. I'm really impatient for Robert Eggers' next film to get out. He's making a film about Vikings.
It's a Viking revenge story.
Yeah,
and then he's doing a Nosferatu remake, which is actually really cool.
I don't know.
I tried watching the old. It's super old. Nosferatu is like an insanely old movie, but it's
Yeah.
really boring. I know
So maybe
a
he'll
lot
make
of
it
people like
interesting.
it and respect it, but it's boring, and I'm glad. That's like one of the movies I'm glad is being remade. You know, and that it's Robert Eggers.
By Robert Eggers, yeah.
Yeah.
So wonderfully directed, wonderfully performed. Like it's honestly the biggest Oscar snub of the year. It
Oh,
was, like-
absolutely. Those are some of the best performances ever.
Everyone was complaining about Adam Sandler. Like, yeah, he should have been at least nominated, but freaking Willem Dafoe
deserved like everything.
It's the best performance I've ever seen.
It's
from
his
him.
best performance and probably one of the best performances I've ever seen. I just love it. It's so entertaining, and
Yeah.
but you take it seriously too. You know.
Yeah, he really honestly, my girlfriend didn't even realize that it was like the Green Goblin
Oh,
from
yeah.
Spider-Man until we watched behind the scenes. She's like, "Wait a minute, that's the Green Goblin!" Like he's
That's awesome.
He's totally immersed in his character, and he looks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he has like a beard and everything, but he's so different.
Yeah.
And Robert Pattinson is great. That was the first. No, Good Time was
And
the
it's like-
first movie that I saw with him, like outside of Twilight.
Yeah.
But Robert Pattinson is great too. It takes a long time for him to get out of his shell.
Yeah.
But that's kind of his character's progression.
Yeah, it's like the point of his character for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an awesome movie. I love everything about it.
It is. Same here. So that was my number 6.
How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? Help me to recollect.
My number 6 is quite the tonal shift.
All right.
And you're probably going to make fun of me, and I don't care. So I'm proud.
I'm curious.
My number 6 is Spider-Man 2.
I believe there's a hero in all of us. Gives us strength, makes us noble. Even though sometimes we have to give up the thing we want the most.
Barker!
Where you been? Looking for you all morning.
You're late.
Always late.
You're fired.
Look at your Peter. Your grades have been declining. You always appear exhausted.
I know, I'm trying.
So where you been, pal? You don't return my calls.
I've been kind of busy.
Taking pictures of your friend. Spider-Man killed my father.
No matter what I do,
Do you love me or not?
no matter how hard I try,
I want Spider-Man dead.
it's the ones I love who will always be the ones who pay.
I can't keep thinking about you. I'm getting married.
I want a life of my own. I'm Spider-Man. No more.
Yeah.
You nerd.
I love...
That's actually... You could have used the segue of Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, but he's not in Spider-Man 2.
That's true.
He's in Spider-Man 1.
His son is,
I
though.
was going to. I almost
Willem
did.
Dafoe's son, James Franco.
Yeah.
is in it.
But yeah,
All right.
Spider-Man 2, not that I think it's like this super artsy fartsy underappreciated, like I do think it's an incredibly well-made film, and I think Sam Raimi is incredible in the practical effects that went into this film and the filmmaking aspects of this movie and the choreography and the practical stunts and action scenes are all incredible. But I'm not going to pretend that this is like some, art house, what's the word I'm looking for? Like Godfather type movie that everyone needs to love. It's totally a bias.
a comic book movie.
It's totally a bias, and it's the best comic book movie ever made.
This is kind of like your Gladiator, sorta.
Kind of, yeah. This is like, because I grew up with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I even really like the third one, even though it's bad, but I still like it. It's just, but the first one I watched like every day. Growing up, I loved that movie, and I'm rewatching it now. I'm kind of surprised. Like I watched it when I was so young because they get kind of like violent.
Yeah.
But the second one is a lot better than the first, in my opinion. In a lot of ways, the way it's made, filmed, like acted.
I would agree.
It's such a big step up in terms of filmmaking quality, and I am legit impressed by the way it's made. I still think it holds up and it looks fantastic still. I love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh, he's too old. Tom Holland's way better Peter Parker. But that's the one I grew up with.
Everyone's too old in that movie.
That's
like,
what they all look 30.
Mary Jane.
But to be fair, in 2, they're out of high school at that point. So it makes more sense then. But I like older Spider-Man. I love Tobey Maguire. I like how he portrayed him. And it's the Spider-Man I grew up with, so I'm nostalgic for it. So that's like my Spider-Man, even though I know he's probably didn't represent the comic book. Like, I don't care about comic book accuracy. I mean, he shoots webs out of his actual wrists. That was like a Sam Raimi thing. Like, that wasn't in the comics. So I love the originality Sam Raimi brought to Spider-Man, and it's just really fun. I think Doc Ock is such an awesome character too, and the behind the scenes for this movie is so cool. Like the way they did his arms and how so much of it is practical. It's a really fun movie to see how they made it, because it's actually really impressive how much of it is very practical. Especially the scene where the car crashes through the cafe. Every time I see it, it just blows my mind how real it looks. It looks way more real than like any scene like that in modern Marvel movies, because it's not CGI. It's like real.
Really?
Like they actually, I mean, they didn't actually throw a car at them, but they did that. And then
But the car is real, like actually smashing
I'm
through
pretty
the window?
sure. And then there's a separate scene where you can see they have Toby and Kirsten Dunst. Wow, I can't say her name. They have them on like this spinny thing, and they're like filming them. So like the slow-mo is just like how it's really creative. I can't describe it without sounding stupid, but There's a lot of creative filmmaking in this movie, and Sam Raimi's directorial style really came through, and there was a lot of like weird horror elements in it, like where all the doctors are being
like
murdered.
The Evil Dead.
Yeah,
kinda.
It's like violent. There's a lot of like screaming girls being zoomed in on, like old horror movies. It's so weird, and I love everything about it. And it's one of those movies I have probably legitimately watched more than like 30 times. Like, because I grew
it as a kid.
Yeah, because I saw it in theaters. I grew up watching it. We had it on DVD. It was my obsession. I played the game. Spider-Man 2 on PS2.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was just like my life, and I'm so nostalgic for it. But there's a lot of things I'm nostalgic for, and I'll go back to, and I'm like, oh, it's not really that good.
Yeah,
But with this movie, I still am impressed by it just as a film too.
Yeah,
and I love it, and it's corny and dumb, and it embraces it, and it's like the most fun I have watching a movie, I feel. And it holds a very huge place in my heart forever and ever.
Of course.
Amen.
Amen. And I gotta say, like, you actually introduced these movies to me. Like,
I made you watch them for the first time.
Yeah, because you guys know me. I lived a sheltered life, and but like watching it, like, I thought the first one was, just kind of tacky.
It's super cheesy, but I love it. I still love the first one.
But like both that and the second, I actually still haven't watched the third one, even though you gave me the DVD for it.
It's really stupid. But I like it. I still like it a lot because it's stupid.
Actually, no, I lied. I've seen big chunks of it.
Yeah.
When it was like first out, I saw big chunks of it. Like I saw the fight between Spider-Man and Sandman.
It's definitely the worst, but
Yeah.
I still like it. I still think it's better than the modern Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man,
Which
I will say,
I think it's better than the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
That's a hot take probably, but
Tom Holland is a good
I don't love
Spider-Man, but
Homecoming
his
or-
movies aren't great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But like watching it, like, I did see the Amazing Spider-Man movies when they came out, and I used to like them. I have since
used to like the
been
first
saved.
one.
Yeah, the first one is like
I
not
never liked the
bad.
second one, but I kind of liked the first one when it came out.
But watching these, like the Sam Raimi ones, I watched it and I understood what they were and what the movie was trying to do, and I feel like that the movie did a great job at doing it.
Yeah.
I don't love the films myself, but they're a lot of fun, and
Yeah, these are those movies where even though I love them and I'm obsessed with them, if someone didn't grow up with them and I tried, like when I made you watch them, I didn't expect you to really even like them that much. I just wanted to
I wasn't too crazy about the first one, to be honest.
I was just curious what you
But
would
the
think.
second one was better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It's
You don't love Willem Dafoe like making weird goblin sounds and crouching.
I mean,
and
of course I
jumping on
love
people.
it, but maybe
He's
not for the same
so-
reasons that was intended.
He's so corny in that movie, and it's awesome.
Everyone's corny.
He
in that
is
movie.
great.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I adore those movies, and yeah, Spider-Man 2, I had it way higher, but I couldn't ignore the fact that I watch it so much. Like it's a movie
Got
I
kind
put on a
of
lot.
worn on you, sort of.
Yeah, no, it hasn't.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you were
still
saying.
watch it so much. I watched it like a week ago, actually, just because I was bored.
Of course you did.
So I just threw it on. It's one of my comfort movies.
Yeah.
And
can see
I
that.
watch the Spider-Man movies like every year around my birthday.
Yeah.
That's like a thing for me, just for me.
I can
usually.
see how like the Spider-Man movies for you is kind of like what the Chronicles of Narnia films are for me.
Kind of, yeah. And even though I like those
Even
movies,
though I
I'm
wouldn't
not
put
as
those in my
attached.
top 10.
Yeah.
But like those were like the first real movies that I mean, it was the first movie I ended up seeing in the theaters.
Right.
So I love them, and like I love them to death, but I would never.
But you wouldn't like expect others to like them.
Yeah, and I am
them.
aware that they are not like masterpieces, but they're still pretty great for what they are. But yeah. Anyways, but those aren't in my list. So
yeah, sad.
Is that all you wanted to say about Spoderman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put the pants in the box, Mrs. Parker.
Thank you, Henry.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Henry, you're getting tall.
Henry, why don't you put those cookbooks in with the mixer?
Okay. You take Spider-Man's pictures, right?
I used to.
Where is he?
Henry and I agree. We don't see his picture in the paper anymore.
He, quit.
Why?
Wanted to try other things.
He'll be back, right?
I don't know.
You'll never guess who he wants to be. Spider-Man.
Why?
Well, he knows a hero when he sees one. Too few characters out there flying around like that, saving old girls like me. And Lord knows, kids like Henry need a hero. Courageous, self-sacrificing people, setting examples for all of us. Everybody loves a hero. People line up for them, cheer them, scream their names, and years later they'll tell how they stood in the rain for hours just to get a glimpse of the one who taught him to hold on a second longer. I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble, and finally allows us to die with pride. Even though sometimes we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most. Even our dreams. Spider-Man did that for Henry, and he wonders where he's gone. He needs him. Do you think you could lift that desk and put it into the garage for me? But don't strain yourself.
Okay.
And then real quick, should we are we gonna do a two-parter for this?
I really thought that we could get this into one episode, but we're like pushing on an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Unless we really go quick and make it 2 hours.
No, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
We've done 5 so far.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do the other 5.
Yeah.
In the next one.
That's what I'm thinking.
I just thought that since we weren't doing spoiler conversations that it would make it shorter.
Yeah.
But I guess not.
Nope. I mean,
darn you, Mitchell.
We can try and cut it down from here on out if you want to try and finish this off in half an hour.
I don't.
Or nah.
I don't know, because we talked about 5 movies so far in an hour and a half. Can we talk about 5 more movies in a half hour?
Probably not. There was a lot of intro too.
It's like 10-15 minutes of intro though.
Yeah, true. Oh no, yeah, maybe we should split it.
Okay.
Unless we want like a 2.5 hour episode.
I don't think so.
No.
I've looked at the data.
Yeah.
And people tend to kind of like lose interest after a long time. So
gotcha.
Trying to keep these to at least.
Yeah, we'll do the rest of the 5 then on part 2.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, don't we plan these so well?
Yeah, we do. I was like, wait a second, is this supposed to be?
Yeah, I really wanted to try to get an hour and a half, but of course not. Leave it to us to just ramble on about stuff we like. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Okay? So...
We're disgusting.
We know you hate us, but you don't. All right, so, yeah. Tune in next time for the next episode of our actual top 5 favorite films of all time, excluding The Lord of the Rings. Mitchell, I believe you have the recommendation for this episode.
What am I going to recommend today?
What is it?
I'm going to go ahead and recommend, and This probably isn't the most clever recommendation because a lot of people have already listened to it, but it's one of my favorite albums this year right now. It came out pretty recently. Fleet Fox's new album, Shore, I've been absolutely in love with and listening to constantly. If you know about Fleet Foxes but haven't listened to them much, I think it's a pretty good introductory album if you want to start with it too. It's great. It's a little more straightforward and like upbeat than their other albums, but I still love it. I think it's just as good as some of their best stuff, and it's great. Just good indie folk, like chill, upbeat,
it is very chill.
like sort of pop-ish at times for them at least. But yeah, just a really solid like indie folk rock album, and it's great.
I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, and you're not even like the biggest Fleet Foxes fan, and you're pretty enjoying it, which is...
This is the first album that I've really been paying attention to, honestly.
Yeah.
I need to check out their
You need
other
to dive
stuff.
into their other albums because they're so good. They're still one of my favorite bands. But yeah.
I know the song that goes... I was following the...
It's like their one... It's like their huge hit.
Yeah, that's the one everyone knows.
It's apparently a Christmas song for a lot of people.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, I see it on a lot of Christmas. I see it on Christmas playlists like all the time.
Do they talk about winter or Christmas?
No, they don't mention Christmas in it. It's
That's
just
weird.
It's just because they say winter and scarves, and it's like, oh, it's Christmas.
Oh, so they do talk about winter.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
It's literally called White Winter Hymnal.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I couldn't remember what it was called.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So,
but yeah, check it out. It's the perfect autumn album. So if you want some good, peaceful, upbeat autumn tunes, Shore, SHORE, by Fleet Foxes.
Sure.
Yeah, check it out. It's probably my favorite album so far this year.
I really like the one that sounds like the Spyro music.
Oh yeah. I was happy I was able to add another song to that playlist. By the way, anyone, if I don't know how you'll contact us, but if you know me or want to comment on the episode, I guess I'm making a playlist and I have like 40 some songs on it, and it's all music that sounds like that reminds me of the Spyro the Dragon OST. So if you've ever heard a song that makes you think of the soundtrack from Spyro, send it to me.
You Spyro fans, you know what we're talking about.
Because I need more songs. I have like 40 on it. And I don't know. It's like this weird specific genre of songs that always remind me of Spyro music. And I'm trying to collect them all. Anyways, so super off topic.
I've listened to, what's it called? Because they can go check it out for themselves.
I think it's literally called Spyro the Dragon Vibes on...
Spyro the Dragon Vibes on Spoofy.
Let me confirm that. Yeah, Spyro the Dragon Vibes, and it's by me, Mitchell Owens, and the picture is Spyro with sunglasses.
So go find the playlist, and then follow Mitchell's account, and you'll get to see what he listens to and judge him.
You can see how awesome of taste I have. Good English. But yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Mitchell.
You can see what great taste I have there.
Yeah. And I'm Clifford Close.
No, you're not.
So you can find me on there if you can.
Yeah.
All right. So...
goodbye.
Bye.
End it there.
Yep, sure.
Perfect.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Podwood Forecast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like for us to give you a shout out on the show, be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And also feel free to look in the show notes for links to our social media, our Twitter and Facebook. And as always, stay beautiful, and thanks for listening.